Okay, so the flower of life has seen in Amritsar, uh, ancient world, but most famously in the Osirieon temple in Egypt. And it's again, it's always going to be in with the vesica. And to do the exact drawing to get it right, well, it's pretty easy. And begin with a circle, and then we do the vesica. Now, I did the axis, the construction line vertically here, because what we need to do is do 5 circles around there. So that's 1, 2, 3. Now we extend that down. That's the 4th, and we have a 5th. And this gives you the basics from where to construct it. So once we have these, we know not to go any further. So now it's just a matter of filling it in. Just follow this same pattern all the way up wherever the lines intersect. On the other side as well. I'm being as quick as I can, but if you do it yourself, you might want to take your time, because even a small, if you're only half a millimetre out, the further you develop it, that will grow and grow. So again, for instance, you might notice little things like that there. That's because I'm firstly like using this pen tip, but you want to be as accurate as you can to do this. And so yeah, just take your time if you are doing it. And now we just follow that same, and we do the same here, 1, 2, and 3. And so with this now should be the basic, all the key points are now in here. So now we have the fruit of life. And one way to think about it, actually, so imagine, wish I had a golf ball or something, but so we have this central circle here. You could say that's like encloses one full circle. Then we have, so that's the central circle, and then we have this, so another full circle, and the same thing would happen there. So ultimately you have one circle here in the middle, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 full circle. That these are touching. So like I said, that's how one circle there and one is there. But anyway, we've got now this is the basis of it. And now to finish it off, so just put your point again where they intersect. But we don't draw a full circle. We just do it from. It's going to be enclosed in the construction. And now again. So you'll start to see now again where these where the circles intersect. Just follow that around. And again, remember not to go outside of the construction. Okay, went a little bit out, but yeah, just take your time with it if you want to. Okay, so there we have the See, now with that we have one more step to do. So wherever this petal touches the edge of it that we've created, so we'll start there with that one. And again, stay within inside those lines. One there. One more here. And so that's the flower of life, because the flower of life, okay, so we have one on the inside and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have, well, imagine one sphere in the center surrounded by 6 spheres on the outside. So that's the flower of life. The seed of life, which I've drawn before, that's 7. So anyway, okay. Now you'll find this, well, for instance, Amritsar, I'll put some pics up to show, but you'll also find it in the Osirieon, there in Egypt. Now I'm going to reset the compass to from the center to the tips of those petals. Okay, and so from there, I'm going to just create a mark. And then from that mark I'm going to, well, here's an important point about that. Okay, so I'll show the picture of the flower of life at the Osirieon, because now we want to draw a circle that encloses that. Now, as you'll see, there are 2 of these next to one another, and I don't know exactly why. I believe there'd be a reason for it, but it's enclosed by another circle. Okay, so that's 1/2 of it now. And you'll notice that this is rather small, because the next one, so the one which is next to it, this border is quite a bit larger. So I'm just eyeballing it there. And now we have, use that as a marker. And now we go back to the original setting of the compass. So now we can follow again. Now I should do, okay, I'm just going to do a construction line just to help with guiding it. You want to have it level with this one. Just again eyeballing it. And I hope I've got enough. Yeah, I should have enough. Okay, so now we're just going to repeat that construction again. 5 circles along this axis, so the first circle, then 2 above and 2 below. And now we just filled it in again. I might just speed this up because I've done it before. Again, now along the outside, wherever the circles intersect, but stay within the lines. Well, actually, even now, wherever the circle ends, so I did this first part of the circle, that's your next point to do the line. So now I could go there. And again, because if you're a bit like me, I'm rushing now, these a slight error, if you're inaccurate, so even again a fraction of a millimetre, will start to come together and will multiply on itself. And so as you get further and further out, so again, just a reminder to, if you want to do this like as a project, really take your time, get as a thin point as you can, and be as accurate with your circles as you can to try and get as perfect as is possible. Unless, of course, again, if it's still, just as an exercise, you don't need to, even within this, slight errors won't really matter just to get the point across, because all the geometry of it is, well, it's Euclidean, so it's all proven. So even if the drawing itself is not 100%, the information is still in there. So here we have the Osirieon. I might have got it backwards, but we have around the first flower of life, we have a narrow border. And so now compass point on the center, and we're going to find the little, go to the outside. That gets enclosed in a circle, and I've exaggerated it slightly, but still get the point if you, as I'll show the comparison how that looks. Now that's slightly a little bit exaggerated, but it's just curiosity to me why these two flowers of life, one has a very narrow border and one has a noticeably wider border. Now there are even decorations around there, both of these, which may contain information. I suggest that they probably would, but this construction, this is the Osirieon, ancient Egypt, but we'll find it in India, ancient Rome, lots of temples, even later on cathedrals. It can be found in places like Nepal, or pretty much everywhere. And this geometry is, as it's so often termed, sacred geometry. It's Euclidean as well. But anyway, just as an example, these are some of the buildings around there which have this pattern. This pattern itself has, done in earlier videos, really cool information, musical, the arithmetic, of course, the geometry by definition, yeah, but also the astronomy. And it's just amazing how, and especially when you start to consider the 360-degree compass, why they chose this and how this applies to the 30, 60 and other angles built into this. This, of course, beehives, the poles of Saturn, crystals, formations, even molecules and the way that they form, the hexagonal. And so at the heart of this whole construction is the perfection of the hexagon. So if you just draw those points there, and of course then the hexagon is what do you call it, the equilateral triangle. So it's really, this is just a whole set of hexagons and equilateral triangles going in there. It's just the perfection of the hexagon, that the edge length of a hexagon equals the radius of the circle. It's just, nature demands this. This is just the geometry of nature, the cosmos, however you want to put it. If you don't like sacred geometry, it's Euclidean geometry. But of course, it's across the ancient world, and this information so much connects to, well, harmonic numbers and metrology, astronomy especially. And with that, hope you enjoyed. Have a good one. Okay, and just, I forgot to include a proportion, so there we are almost finish it off. However, there's not all. We have to add these petals around the outside, and so now I'm going to use a pencil tip, and I'll just show how to do those rather than, is that showing up? Hope that shows up on the video. And so again, just where they intersect. And that's the setting. And so where these would intersect with that would give us those final little petal pieces on there on the outside, and so these pieces carry around the outside. That's the technique. You just need to extend those circles around there, and they will finish off the petals. And so if I was to just freehand it, these are the if you were to keep going around and around, you would find, and so this would create that full pattern, which we see again in very important temples across time, across cultures, across large parts of the world.